do you have like systems in place that you're really running your business as business, not just like an expensive hobby? So really understanding that if you invest in your business, your time, energy, and finances, that there will be a return for that. It's not spending your time and spending your money. This is employee mindset. You have to have this investor mindset that this is investment and I will make a return on that.
Hello and welcome to Pillars of Wealth Creation, where we talk about creating financial success with a special focus on business and real estate. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer. Now, let's get to it. Hey, real quick before we get started, first of all, I wanted to thank everybody for joining us on the show and for listening. To all my loyal listeners, I really appreciate you, continuing to listen and support the show. If you can go on to iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever you listen and subscribe to the show, that would be fantastic. Spread the word too. I'd love to, have this reach more and more people. So if you could share it on social media or and just talk about it to other people, that would be fantastic. And the last thing is if you can go onto iTunes and give us a rating review, hopefully 5 stars. That would be great as well. It just helps us spread the word more, and it helps us continue to get really good guests on the show. We've had some fantastic guests, and I just want to be able to continue to bring fantastic value to you. Go onto our Facebook page too, Pillars of Wealth Facebook page, and I'd like to hear from you as a listener of what you're doing in business, what you've got going on, what you are maybe struggling with or being successful with, and then what we can do on the show to help push you to that next level. Maybe questions we can ask our guests, maybe guests that we can get on the show to talk about certain topics, certain things that are really you're needing some extra support with. So provide for us some feedback on Facebook, and you can also share this out on social media. That would be fantastic as well. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being a either new listener or a loyal listener. I definitely appreciate it, and we will get started with the show. Hey, welcome back to Pillars of Wealth Creation. I'm your host, Todd Dexheimer, and with me today, I have Reelika Schulte. Reelika, how are you doing today?
Doing very good. How are you?
I am fantastic. A little bit about Reelika is she is an international business coach with honors degree in business, the founder of Design Dream Lifestyle, where she teaches people around the world how to use their life experiences to launch their own thriving online coaching business. She grew up in Estonia, developed an entrepreneurial mindset after watching her parents start their own business after the fall of the Soviet Union. And also cool to note is she's now a fellow Minnesotan. She's across the other side of the Twin Cities from me. So that's pretty cool as well. Reelika, why don't you give our listeners a little bit more about your background, and then what's your focus today in your business?
Sure. So, as you said, right, I grew up in northeastern Europe, so in Estonia, and I've been here in Twin Cities almost 4 years so far. And my background is all about business, finance. I really followed like this traditional path, as my parents always told me. Go to college, get your degree, and get a job, right? So, and that's all I really knew. So I got my business degree. I worked in personal finance, and I worked in investment banking, audit, operations, you name it. And really just burned out on that field because as a mom as well, I always felt like I want to have like a flexible schedule. So I really was looking at opportunities to work from home or to do something on my own as well, especially because my parents were entrepreneurs and they always told me you should have a business. And my problem was I never had a business idea, anything that would be like profitable or anything that I was excited about. And I started experimenting a little bit about blogging, and I launched my personal finance blog at first. And I loved it, and it was great. I was making some passive income, but it never was in a point where I could quit my job and really go into making money just blogging. And when coaching business opportunity came along, I really discovered that this is it because I can actually use my business experience, but also have a human connection and have this flexible schedule around my own life that I can work on my own terms and do what I love to do. So right now, it's just mostly working with women who are looking to kickstart their own coaching businesses online and just helping them with the marketing and the sales piece.
Okay. So, when you're doing, so you're teaching other people, to do, is there a certain type of coaching that you're teaching them?
They are relatively new, so that they either just starting out the business and life coaches, health coaches, wellness coaches, you name it. So the main thing really is that they do have to have some sort of like an expertise. So whether this is some sort of like a personal experience they went through, or sometimes this is a professional thing. For example, like maybe they have been working in human resources for 20 years, and now they really want to become a career coach and start their own business. So
Sure.
they're really just lacking kind of the business side. So I'm really helping them with that.
Okay. So with your blogging, then you did the blogging. What did that, like, what kind of lessons did you learn from that helped you along the way?
A lot. And I guess the biggest thing is that you have to love the content creation. And
Mm,
I really didn't. And I guess for me specifically, because I'm not a native speaker, so I always had to hire somebody who would edit my post as well to make
mm.
sure that this is properly, like structured and the grammar is great and all those things. So that was exhausting for me. But people who love this, who love to write articles, so this is really great for them. The other lesson I learned is that the importance of your emails, so that you really have to build a list, because that was my biggest aha moment, that your money is in a list, that if you have your following and if you have your email list, you can create services and products, and there are always people who would benefit from those. So, and obviously all sort of like the tech pieces too. Let's say, SEO and just the way that you really optimize your website and really, let's say, guest blogging and all those pieces too.
So as you're coaching, these women to grow an online coaching business, what are some of the strategies that are key for them to be successful in doing that?
Yeah, so I think that you really have to be visible online. That typically the biggest thing that happens is, we're thinking about we don't get clients, so we're not making any money in the business, and then you ask yourself, do people even know what I do? So, and sometimes it's even like your existing network doesn't know what you do. So that it's not that people doesn't want to hire you, but they just don't know that you exist or that's what you do now. So I think the key is to be really consistent in one thing. Let's say doing Facebook Lives, for example, or emailing to your email list, or just really showing up consistently for your business, because it's kind of like having any regular shop on a street, right? You have to have this open sign out there every single day, so that if you only open your shop, let's say like a couple times a week, not many people know about that. So consistency is really the huge piece of that to be successful.
Um, is it important to be active in as many platforms as possible, or is it more important to focus on, let's say, one or two?
It's a good question. I would say that definitely start out with just one. So if you're listening to this and just wondering that if you should be all over the place, then really master one piece first, and then you can expand. So because if you, let's say, I always say that like there's clients in Facebook everywhere. So that if you have mastered the Facebook strategy and you have the system in place that you can attract the clients over there, no matter what business you have, then maybe it's time to expand, maybe like to YouTube or to LinkedIn or Instagram or somewhere else. But I feel like if you try to be like everywhere, so at the end of the day, you really end up being inconsistent, like all those places, and you really don't get the results.
Is there a certain platform right now? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is there a certain one right now that maybe is the most useful to be extremely, consistent in?
I think Facebook, honestly, because there's like pretty much everyone is in Facebook. So I guess like whatever business you have, everybody is in Facebook. But I guess the question here is that you need to grab the attention in Facebook and really hang out where they hang out. For example,
Mm.
that you need to know your ideal clients. So if they are somewhere in a Facebook groups, that's where you need to be. Or you can do the paid advertisement as well. But one of the things to keep in mind is that Facebook is not like Amazon where people would go with their credit cards. This is a social platform. So people would go there to be entertained, to also to connect and to learn. So in order for you to make sales or to get the clients, you actually have to get those people out of this platform to your email list, for example, to your funnel. And that's where all the other things happen, like the sales and getting them signed up for your program too.
Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You're not trying to sell them on Facebook. You're just trying to get them interested, provide them with either entertainment or education, and then they'll come to find you. That's when you do business with them, not on Facebook.
Absolutely. That's where you build your know, like, and trust. And you can actually, be visible. You can be in like, on the phone because people really, I think it was a statistics that said that an average American checks the phone like 83 times a day. So, which is a lot. So, and like, and if you're thinking about a lot of people do check the Facebook all the time. So
Mhm.
if you're not there, so they don't find you, you have to be there.
I bet that statistic is really low. I bet that people check your phone a few hundred times a day. I mean,
Yeah. I read it
um,
somewhere, yeah.
so is it, if I'm starting, okay, I go, hey, I really like the idea of a coaching business. I'd really like to do something like that. Where do I start? How do I actually get started in that and then start getting clients that are going to consistently want to come to me?
Yeah, I think the most important thing is to nail down your niche, like how you're
Mm.
gonna be different than anyone else. So, and one of the things is that the clarity is not coming just by sitting behind your computer screen. You actually have to do market research. So I would say the number one thing you want to do is you want to talk to people, like literally find your ideal clients and figure out what the issue is that they currently have. What is going on in their life? What is this biggest struggle that they have? Why this is going on? How long this is going on? Why this needs to be solved right now? So if you can get, let's say, like 5 to 10 people on a phone with you, and you can have a real conversation as a human being, and if these are kind of like the clients, you will start noticing the pattern of what this problem really is and where they really want to go as well, because the vision is important too. But there has to be an urgency to solve this problem too. So what kind of keeps them up during nighttime? And if you can create the solution for them, that is what's going to sell. That's what's going to get to those clients. So if you provide the solution, like through your coaching program, for example, or self-study program, or any sort of like an online product like that, that's what's going to sell because they need that. And you have done your research. So definitely getting people on the phone, but also you can do surveys. You can ask like them like what are they struggling and what have they done so far as well, why it haven't worked for them. And once you figure this thing out, this will make your services fly off the shelf right away.
Yeah, and right there is just a lot of good information that you just provided. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're doing and in. That's it. Really, honestly, it boils down to what's the problem that you're trying to solve, and then what's the solution that you're gonna provide for that problem. Right? And
Yeah.
if you can figure that out, and it's not necessarily, a lot of people just they focus on the product, they focus on what they want, and they don't focus on what everybody else wants. And that's where you're going to be successful, is once you can start focusing on what everybody else wants, not what you want.
Exactly. And I figure that that's the biggest mistake a lot of people make, is that they try to educate and create this demand out there on a market without figuring out what the demand is, because we can't create this demand, we can respond to that demand. And the moment we figure this out, that where this demand is, then we can create the solution for that. And if your program or if your service is the solution, kind of like a bridge from the pain point to the heaven where they want to go, that will make it to sell like a hot cake, literally.
Yeah, I like it. What advice would you give our listeners to operating a business successfully? What are a couple things?
I would say that you have to go all in. Most of those times when people are still having this mindset around that, I just kind of try, let me just see how this works. It's not going to work this way. You can't run a business by being between. You have to literally decide that this is what I'm going to be doing, and I'm going to go all in. And with that said, you really do the market research, you create a program to services, you can hire a mentor who can help you with these plans and everything, or like get some support around the house, maybe somebody who can babysit your kids or something, that you can really focus on your business. And, because there is hustle period. There really is the hustle period when you get started in your business, but it's not gonna last forever. So like once you have this foundation in place, you can start, outsourcing some of those things too. But marketing is a huge piece, obviously. So that once you have a service or product and you have really validated that, yes, there is demand for that, you need a marketing plan of where your clients are coming from. Do you have like systems in place that you're really running your business as business, not just like an expensive hobby? So really understanding that if you invest in your business, your time, energy, and finances, that there will be a return for that. It's not spending your time and spending your money. This is employee mindset. You have to have this investor mindset that this is investment and I will make a return on that.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and I want to mention a few things. First of all, I've been doing some coaching, and I want to continue to kind of expand that slowly and take on a few clients. And up until recently, I didn't really believe in coaching and taking courses and stuff like that. But I recently, or I shouldn't say recently, it's been a few years now, hired a coach and saw immediate results and have been very happy with it, and decided, as my teaching background, I wanted to do some coaching myself and help other people get the results that I was able to achieve. And so if you're at that point where you think that's the spot for you, or maybe you just want to explore if it's right for you, reach out to me. I'd have a free discovery call with you. We want to make sure that it is the right step for you to take. There might be other things that you can do to get success, and coaching might not be it. But let's have that discovery call to find out if that is the step that you need to take. So it can really make a major impact in your business and get you to that next level. The other thing is John Stiles. He's on this show every single week with me on the Hump Day Hustle. And John Stiles is a real estate agent in Minnesota, and he will help you find a good investment property. John is very knowledgeable and can help you find an investment property. It can also help you sell your investment property. So reach out to John Stiles with Bridge Realty and connect with him. He'll also, consult with you and make sure you guys are the right fit. So give him a call if you're in Minnesota. Reach out to him. He'd love to help as well. Back to the show. Yeah, no, great. Yeah, great information there. I know. So back to the kind of the coaching or your business. You like webinars. I want to ask you about that as well. What do you see with webinars? Why you like them, and what's the process of developing a webinar to help get clients?
Yeah, I do love webinars. And one of the things that I love it because it can really be automated behind the scenes so that you don't have to do that manually all the time. When you first get started with the webinar, you absolutely want to do live webinars because you do not have the data yet that your webinar works. I think I did my webinar like 4 or 5 times, like live, before I was able to really nail the process and to really see that it was converting well. So one of the things about the webinar is, again, knowing your ideal client so that what the struggle really is and providing awesome content for them during this 1 hour. So the reason why a lot of times those webinars are not working that well is because if you try to be too superficial. So don't be afraid to give out really good stuff during this webinar, your best content, because if people have those aha moments, that's what's going to bring them back to you. They never hire you because of the information. They always hire you because of the implementation.
Mm.
So if your content is great on the webinar and it kind of matches with your program or the service or product you want to offer, that's what's going to cost you the sales. That's going to at least going to them to sign up for your program. But the process itself, if you think about that, somebody is taking out from the day entire hour to spend with you to listen to your webinar is huge, because nowadays people really spending the time on something. It's harder to get people to spend their time than money on something nowadays. So if they do spend this time, they're really interested in that. They really want to learn this thing. They really have this issue going on. And normally on this process, they also get to know you because they will see you on a screen or they listen to your voice, they see your content, they learn about your story, like what you have gone through and how you became successful, what do you do? And that's what's going to build this know, like, and trust as well. And they want to know more and they want to book a call with you or they want to buy your product.
I like what you said there, and I haven't heard anybody say that exact the way you said it. But you said that your knowledge. I mean, what you give away is really important, but they're buying and they're going to work with you because of the implementation of that knowledge. And most people can find whatever knowledge you're trying to give. If they do enough research, they can find it. So that's not what they're looking for. Yeah, do they want somebody that is knowledgeable? Sure, they do. But it's about that implementation and you being able to help them implement. And that's what they're going to be paying for, which is, I think, is very, very wise to say. I think a lot of people hesitate to give away too much information, on a free webinar or a free, whatever conference or whatever they're doing. They don't want to give away the farm because they want people to keep on coming back, where you're saying, you know what, don't worry about that. Give away everything. Tell them everything, because then they're going to want to come back because they're going to want to know, now, how do we implement this? I need you to lead me to the water.
Yeah, and honestly, that was my biggest mistake. What I made with my webinars at first, that I was just too superficial, very honestly. So, and it's not that I wanted to be superficial, but I just didn't think that I have to go deeper. But the moment that I switched that, I saw that people came to me and they said they had to take notes. They actually had aha moments on this webinar. So that you really have to put the really good content into this webinar, because that's what's going to make you convert.
Yep. Yeah. They're going, wow, she's a person I want to, work with. She's got it. She understands it versus, okay, I feel like I just got ripped off. I feel like I spent an hour in front of the computer listening to this person, but they provided me just kind of semi content. Now they're just trying to sell me on the rest.
Exactly. And let's face it, there are a lot of webinars today out there too. And if you want to set yourself apart, then that's the best way to do that. Because probably all of us, we have signed up for webinars and we're listening something and we're like, you know what, like, I didn't really learn anything new here. So it's really general. So, but sometimes we sign up for something and it's like, wow, this was interesting, or I never thought about it this way.
Yeah.
So really put your good stuff out there.
I
It's gonna
like that. I like that a lot. I appreciate you sharing that. So, what's a mistake that you've made other than the webinars? Because we already talked about that one. So, what's another mistake that you've made in your business, and how have you learned and grown from that?
Yeah, so I feel like I've definitely made tons of mistakes. Like,
We're all walking like mistakes. They fall off of us all the time. So,
yeah. So I guess the biggest thing, not the biggest thing, but maybe like one of the other mistakes that I made at the beginning of my business was when I was hiring people in my business. So not as an employee, as independent contractors, but I didn't have much clarity like how to do that. So what I would say is when I hired my first virtual assistant, I had to pay everything in front of her, like the entire money in front of her, to her. So which I do not recommend anyone because the work has to get done first. And I got really ripped over from that. So she disappeared with that. So that was something that I felt like I was totally taken advantage of. But I guess like I learned from there that you gotta have agreements in place, like really the systems. When you hire somebody, and now I have my own team. So let's say when you hire a VA, for example, virtual assistant, have them tracking their own hours and like really have a really clear system in place, how you pay them and how the system works. And also what are your expectations? The other thing I can recommend is maybe doing like weekly or monthly meetings, team meetings, so that you really understand that everybody understands what their job is, what are they supposed to do as well. The people sometimes they're just confused, or maybe you're not able to provide them all this information they need to take the right actions to support your business growth. So just kind of the communication is really important. And don't pay anything ahead to anyone until the job is done.
yeah, that's so true. Um, for someone trying to get to that next level, get to where you're at, what does it take to get there? What are a couple things?
Hire a mentor. So like somebody who has done this, walked this walk before. And because really, if you've never done that before, if you want to have a shortcut, that's what you want to do so that you can really model somebody else who has done what you want to do. Because really figuring things out on your own is not going to help you. Then obviously just being like committed and resourceful and being surrounded with other like-minded people. And when I say resourceful, then I mean not just the financial piece, but I mean by information or the problem solving skills. That as an entrepreneur, you face the problems every single day. Like even when your business keeps growing, the problems still show up. So you have to be able to find the solution and not to let kind of like run these problems run you over. So the more you can kind of develop this mindset that I'm gonna figure things out and I'm just gonna find the solution for that, whether you can go to YouTube, whether you can contact your software company, whether you have maybe like a friend or a mentor that you can reach out who can help you solve this problem. Just be resourceful and see solutions rather than the problems. Yeah.
Perfect. What's a favorite book of yours that maybe you've read recently?
Recently, I have had many, but my absolute favorite, what I have actually read a couple times, is Prosperous so by Rich Litman. So I feel like just the mindset as well about like running a business and being a coach is huge in his book. And for me, it has been like life changing because one of the things that he also talks about is, let's say, sales, right? In a business in general, no matter what business you have. If you're thinking about like a car salesman, and car salesman goes to work and 8 hours per day, he's focused on making the sales. On a business, especially when we are freelancers or let's say like, small business owners, a lot of times we try to hide ourselves behind this admin work, that we really just kind of do the work behind the scenes that is not money making or revenue generating activities. But you should really put like 80% of your time to showing up and to be able to that you can talk to your clients, you can show up for them. And then 20% of your time should go towards this admin part and behind the scenes stuff. So this perspective was like huge for me, what I learned.
So that was Prosperous coach. That was by who? Do you remember?
Yes, Rich Litman. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So final question I've got for you before we wrap up is, what are your 3 pillars of wealth creation?
Yeah, so I love passive income products. That's where I started out when when I had my blog as well. So I always like to create like more passive income products. And what I mean by that is more any sort of like a self-study courses. But when you have the audience, whenever you need to kind of generate some income or like that, you can push it out to the audience and they can benefit from that if you have done the market research. And there is really like unlimited potential out there. The other thing is obviously growing my coaching business, because I see that if I can leverage my time the best way and let's say like serve more people online, that has been huge for me. That really just I can control my own revenue and my sales and like how many clients I take on board, while also not hitting like any sort of like an income ceiling like you do, let's say, when you work as an employee. And definitely personal development as well, because if I'm not growing myself as a person or as a coach, I don't see that my clients can grow either. So for me, I always invest in my education, into my health, and just also travel, because the more I have the experiences in life, I have more gratitude in life, and that will make me a better person too. So I feel like all the combination of those things really just like help me build like more wealth in life.
So you're a busy person and you talk about personal development. And so how do you find time for, that kind of stuff?
You just have to make the time. You really just have to make the time, because all of us, we have like 24 hours per day. But I'm really just began like resourceful when it comes to my personal development. I always have mentors that I love to work with. I always love to go to events as well, that I can really network and connect with other like-minded people. And I just schedule those things into my calendar, that I know that this is there, because if I don't schedule something into my calendar, it's not gonna happen. It's not fair. And as far as, let's say, like listening, for example, like audibles or podcasts and like radio shows or YouTube videos, same thing. I always find the time, like at least an hour per day, to do that. Whether I'm cooking for breakfast or enjoying a lunch or just relaxing in the evening as well. Yeah, just schedule it in.
Yeah, I agree. So Reelika, how can our listeners get in touch with you, learn more about what you got going on, and potentially work with you?
Sure. So the best way really is to go to my website, designdreamlifestyle.com. That's where you're also going to find my free training, like how to build up your own coaching business as well. And you can also find me in Facebook, facebook.com/designdreamlifestyle, or just by searching by Reelika Schulte.
Awesome. Well, we'll put all that in the show notes so everybody can get in touch with you. And I definitely appreciate you joining us on the show and, talking about your business, giving us a lot of value too. So appreciate that. And you have a fantastic rest of the day.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, special thanks to Reelika Schulte for joining us on the show. Appreciate the time she was able to give us a ton of value on this episode. 3 things specifically that I took, among many others. First of all, she talks about being disciplined, and extremely important, obviously, in today's society where there's so many distractions, so many different things going on, people trying to pull us in all different directions, and ourselves as entrepreneurs, we're easily distracted oftentimes. So being disciplined is really important. She also talks about being visible and consistent in one area. And that's really important too. And it goes back to discipline. It's so easy for us to think we're going to be, experts in everything. We're going to, be all over the place and show ourselves in every, social media and all that kind of stuff. But just being visible and consistent in one area is going to be more valuable than everywhere. And then the last thing she talks about is hiring a mentor or having a coach, just getting that other person that can really hold your feet to the fire, push you to the next level. Also very, very valuable, podcast, books, all that kind of stuff, good stuff, but being able to get, hold your feet to the fire and really push on to the next level, I have found extremely invaluable in my business as well. That is it. Again, I appreciate her joining us on the show, and have a fantastic rest of the day. Make every day a Saturday. Hey, thanks for listening to the show. Couple things before we go. Again, go on to our Facebook page, Pillars of Wealth. We'd love to have you on there. Go on to iTunes, give us a rating and review, and subscribe to the show. Also, don't forget, reach out to me if you want any help with potentially growing your business, and reach out to John Stiles to help you buy or sell real estate. Thanks for listening. We appreciate it. Have a fantastic the rest of the day. And as I say, make every day a Saturday.